Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? Hope you're having a fantastic day, and may peace be upon you. Thank you for joining me today. With me, your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. And today, something really exciting is happening, something that has been culminating for weeks, for months, even for the whole quarter this year, which is the summer edition of Spotlight Magazine.
Yay!
Today, I have the beautiful ladies with me, Jan Schiffner and Deb Brosman, who are part of the contributor for the magazine today. And they're going to be sharing a little bit about what they feel like, especially in both of them are #1 international best-selling author, with Jan on Women Who Lead and Deb Brosman on It Is Done. But when you're in a magazine, it's a slightly different trait because you can't write 3,000 words. You got to write something that's really impactful, something really strategic and intentional. And we'll also have today a poem reading of I Am Not Gone by Nat Rossman from her book, The Grieving Heart. And with me, your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. I am a media and publicity expert, and I love sharing women's voices on prestigious platforms without prejudice. So, darling, first of all, come off mute and say, woot, woot.
Woo, woo! Hooray!
We did it. It's always like any kind of printed magazine is always a production. For those of you who are listening and watching, please go to izdiharjamil.com/spotlight-magazine. izdiharjamil.com/spotlight-magazine for you to be able to read your copy for free, the digital version for free for the next 72 hours. We would love to share your voices. Read it as many times as you can, forward it to as many people as you can. This is our gift to you to find out the, not just like the businessy side, but various aspects of your lifestyle, from your leadership. There's a recipe there, there's a poem there, there's some ideas, lifestyle for it. There's even a pregnancy tips that for those of you who want to get pregnant, there's even a pregnancy tip by Dr. Danielle Zanzaroff, who is one of the top holistic doctor around. So first of all, I just wanted to say welcome to Janice and Deb. I'm going to start off by checking in with Deb. Now, Deb has been a contributor of Spotlight Magazine since the inception, since the first edition of it. So what a blessing to have her in the magazine for every season now, because I feel like the joy that she gives in, the light that she gives in, should be seen on all editions. That's how I feel it. The joy and the light and her vision, her kindness and her compassion. And most of all, what she has is so unique in helping people to go through the grieving process, especially that I'm someone who experienced it myself when Deb gave me a copy of her book, The Grieving Heart, when my grandma-mommy passed away. And so Deb, welcome.
Oh my God, my darling Izdihar, you shower me with so many blessings. It is such an absolute honor. Oh my goodness, look at Tara Draper's work there. You shower me with such blessings. Always, first and foremost, your friendship. First and foremost, your friendship. An absolute blessing. You have enriched my life on so many levels. And of course, your media expertise, I count on. And we are going to have so much fun with that in the future. So thank you again for including me in one of the most spectacularly gorgeous magazine publications available. It is stunning. Is it Lulu? Is that done through Lulu? I'm not sure who your people are that actually design it, but it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. And yes, I am so honored to be included. Starting off that very first edition with my fabulous vegan oatmeal cookie recipe. And I do believe your little munchkins made it, or Princess Munchkin. She put a little twist on it with her chocolate chips, if I recall. But yes, anyway, so in a nutshell, I couldn't be more thrilled and honored to be included yet again in this gorgeous edition. And I will come back as many times as you want me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Deb. And for those of you who don't know, Spotlight Magazine is both in digital and printed. A lot of the magazines are digital, but to take it to printed was something of my vision as well. Because there's just nothing like when you hold it in your hand. There's just nothing like when you hold it to your hand. But I wanted to do it in a way that is most beneficial, that is most effective. Because last thing I want to do is having 10,000 copies in my garage, right? That's not like what I wanted to do. But kind of give my ladies high quality impact. I mean, for some of you, I even told Deb, you need to go and get a highly professional photographer taken for these pictures now, because of just the quality of the magazine itself. And for those of you who are watching, again, go to izdiharjamil.com/spotlight-magazine. For those of you who are watching, I can quickly show it to you. It is here. So Izdihar Jamil /spotlight-magazine. So there is a free copy for you to see it and view it. Like I said, read as many times as you can, share it with as many people as you can. And this edition is more about the summer vibe, the fresh start, the harvesting of your fruit, the many different parts of your lifestyle. I usually, since the first edition, I don't have a specific theme, but because I want people to showcase their voice how they want it to be, because I understand when I have a theme that people have to try to fit into my theme. Like, what I want is them to be freely expressing themselves, whatever that's guided them by the intuition to share. So Jen, I wanted to say hello to you now. And Jen is part of Women Who Lead, and she wrote a book co-authored together with me called Women Who Lead. And she talks about her work in like having years of hardship, but also having that faith in yourself and kind of moving forward. And this is like her work. Jen is here, and it's called The 12 Unforgivable Sins of Leadership. Now, Jen, let's kind of like talk about this believing in yourself. What it's easy to say, just believe in yourself. It's just easy to say, you've got this, just say, believe in yourself, you've got everything that you need. And we've heard that 1,000 times. But why is it so hard? Why do we not believe ourselves? And I think that is one of the most unforgivable sins of any leaders, is when you don't believe in yourself, especially when people keep on telling you other people could see. More often than not, other people could see what's possible for you or what you're capable of. But why is it so hard to believe in yourself? Let's bust through that unforgivable sins, Jen.
Absolutely. Well, good morning. Jan Schiffner, market manager for a large print company. So I love seeing things in print. I'm so pleased. And you're right. There's absolutely nothing like seeing, feeling, and touching something combined with digital for a quick reference, but to have that foundational piece that you can hold on to and look at is a thrill. And I'm so excited to be on this journey with you, Izzy. I just, from the time that I met you, my life has changed on so many levels. It's just been like opening a door into a new dimension. And I think one of the reasons, it's very interesting because I have a sales team that works for me, and a couple of team members on my team just do not have that foundational belief in themselves. And I have to tell you, one of the things that I did was provide them a copy of my book, so that they could see our book, I should say, so that they could see story after story of resilient people getting to, for me, the way I started believing myself was I had no other choice. My life had turned so upside down that I finally had to take responsibility for my success, my happiness, my drive, my determination. And I had to find it within me to move forward because I wanted a better life. I wanted it for my son. I wanted it for myself. I wanted to be a better human being. And a couple of components of that is that I'm always learning. I don't think that we ever stop learning if we really want to get the most out of this experience we call life. And also, I had to reprogram myself. And part of it was doing things like being exposed to our books, our magazines. I tried to listen to every person that was known for positive thinking, whether it was Jack Canfield, whether it was Tony Nightingale, whether it was Tony Robbins. It just went on and on and on. Louise Hay, Anna Scovel-Shin. It was just important to me. I listened to those tapes in my car at lunchtime. There were tapes at the time. Now they're not. Now it's a little, application that you can get. Right. And that has just been so important to me to tune into something positive, greater than myself, to give me the momentum to drive myself forward, to be the best that I can be, and to be an example for others. And sometimes I think people don't believe in themselves because they're almost not aware that when they take responsibility for their own happiness, for their own determination, for their own drive, it's in them. It's not somewhere else. And when they are willing to accept that responsibility, to change their behaviors, to change their mindset, to move with momentum and positivity and focus and determination, the power of intention is an extraordinary force in our universe that helps propel us forward. And being a part of this with you has brought that so much back to the forefront for me. And I just feel like now, as a result of catapulting into this new experience from putting positivity out in the world via writing and magazines and helping other people find that within themselves and utilize it, I think there are going to be so many even more extraordinary opportunities. And I just can't wait to be a part of them and to work alongside with you, Izzy, and the other fabulous women like Deb in our extraordinary group. So that's, I think you have to be willing to dig deep into yourself and find that spark that lights you up so that you can carry yourself forward.
Absolutely. And like you said, you had no choice because you were put in, there's no other door except for that's the only door. And and what I get about you, Jen, is that the moment you make the decision, right? The moment that you make decision, like this is enough, the only way out, the only way through is for me to believe in yourself. Just like, I remember when you wanted to work with me with a Women Who Lead book project, you made a decision. I'm in. I'm going to figure out the rest of the thing that needs to happen. I'm in.
Yeah.
And then within 24 hours or 40 hours later, Jen was like, I've written my chapter. It's already been within me. But you've always had that desire. It was calling you and calling you and calling you. And you surrender to that call, to that heart, into believing in yourself. Jen wasn't an author before, let alone a best-selling author, but she surrendered to the process. I don't have to know like from A to Z. That's not what I needed to do, but all I have to do is just do this one thing, and it will be led and guided to the next thing and the next. I think more often than not, people can't stop themselves, Jen, because they figure out they need to know everything, or they need to know from A to Z, or they needed to make sure they have this and this and this, and 10 years on, it stops them. But when you let go and you, like Jen, she surrendered to I just gotta believe in myself. I gotta do this, and opportunities just open up for her. Like, Jen was in a podcast now, and then she's here, and then she's going here. And now she has something exciting that's happening this summer that I was like, oh my God, like, it really, happened. So like Jen was inducted into the prestigious Marcus Who's Who alongside Oprah, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. So that's extraordinary on things that happen when you believe in yourself. And Jen is still Jen. She's already have it. Like you already have it within you, right? It's just a matter of opening the gates. So Jen, let's kind of like touch base in terms of like trusting the process or trusting the person, or like not having perfection or knowing everything. A lot of the biggest sins I see in leadership is they want to do it themselves. They want to figure everything out themselves. They want to do it themselves, but they're not the experts in it. Like some people take years to master a certain skill set. So quickly, can you give us like a little tip on that, or a little bit of wisdom, because you leading a team, you have a team with you. So talk about that kind of like leaning into. Jack Canfield in his book, the Success Principle, calls it lean into or surrender. I call it like surrendering to the process. So let's talk a little bit of wisdom in leaning into like what you already have, and and God will take care of the rest. I know like some people are like, how is God gonna, God will, like, you just gotta make the decision. And then you just got to take one step or a couple of steps. So kind of like share your wisdom in that, Jen.
Absolutely. And I've been hearing this message over and over this week so many times, Izdihar, just about having faith. There is such a huge freedom in believing that steps you take are going to get you in the right direction. And if you make a wrong choice, it's okay. You learn from it, you pivot, you keep moving forward, and you just don't stop. And with my team, I'm always looking to, and I did this with my son, I try to always find them doing something well and complimenting them on it versus finding them doing something wrong and bringing that to their attention. So lots of reinforcement, lots of positivity, lots of, I know one of the things that Jack Canfield used to say was, begin with the end in mind. And if you can, if you know what it is you want, I truly believe the universe is going to help you get there. My team does vision boards every year. We set goals, but we allow for space within those goals, because sometimes the plan that the universe has for us is so much better than anything we could create. That, I could have never planned this, being on a podcast, being invited to do a radio show later this summer, being on television, having an international best-selling book, so much greater than anything I would have ever have thought was possible at this point in time. So I think having faith, believing that if you do the right things, you're going to get a great result. It may be different than what you thought, but it could be better than what you thought. And really finding the best in people, helping support them along their journey, and leading the way. So I try to lead the way for my team to show them specific behaviors or actions that could assist them in their journey, but leaving enough space for them to add their own special twist, their own personalities, their own drive and determination to potentially catapult them even further. So I think those are my tips.
Brilliant. Focus on the good things about you, your strengths. I think like if you compare, your strengths probably outweighs, your weaknesses. If you just focus on the one thing or the two things, and especially with children, like who on earth would like to be put down every single time, right? Especially when you have done the work. Yeah, it may not be perfect to some people's different tastes, different people's visions, but it's a lot of work to do anything like the magazine. It is a lot of work. And speaking about cheering people on and supporting each other. And one of the things about Deb is that, she is one of the biggest cheerleaders that I have, and more importantly, she is the biggest cheerleader for herself. And she's also transmitted that vibe to other people, because sometimes people need a little bit of sunshine. People need a little bit of, you know what, you can do this. People need a little bit of that's why I forgot to say, like, people football team has cheerleaders, right? Like they have like all the biggest team, they have cheerleaders, because when it's so intense, when the cheerleaders come on to change the mood, disrupt the pattern, so it just so different. But when I see cheerleaders, they also have they're also highly skilled, for the back flips, front flip, the twist and everything. Well, I can't even bend properly, let alone do all these things. So Deb, I want to like highlight a part of being in the spotlight is also supporting other people, versus saying something like, oh, why did she have it? Why can't I do it? And I kind of like putting that person down. Like, how can we have that vibe, of T. Harv Eker call it like, you can't be rich when you're mad at the rich people, right? Like, you want to be rich, but you're mad at the rich people. Like, how is that gonna happen? So can you give us some tips in terms of being in the spotlight? It also means sometimes when you're not on the spotlight, but when you cheer on other people, you bless them, you congratulate them, like it always comes back to you one way or the other. That's why Deb has been invited to the Spotlight magazine multiple times over. So talk about that vibe of it's women say I'm supporting other women, but they're actually not. So let's talk about this essence from the heart that, you know what, I know I wasn't chosen this time, but you did an amazing job. You're fantastic at it. You're the best person at it. And then kind of like seeing how can that translate to you as well.
Well, Izdihar, you bring up such amazing points, and I want to also circle back to Jan and the power of reinforcing the positive messages. In the case of listening to the audibles in the car, actually one of my processes with dealing with, there was a span, as Izdihar knows, a span where I lost many, many key people in my life, and I was very, very lost. And for me, I part of my process was writing the poetry. Or what I call poetry, and prose more. And that's not everyone's path, but I do encourage anyone and everyone to first and foremost be gentle and kind with yourself. I don't know, we like to reference in this day and age, although I think it's probably been consistent through the ages. There have been caste systems through the ages. You're not born into the wealth, and therefore, just to circle back to Izdihar, we've been brought up, conditioned with a very lack mentality. Mm-hmm. And I know that the panel here are all familiar with law of attraction and the concept of abundance. First and foremost, there is no perfection. There's no such animal. And enjoy what you're doing, put out the best that you can, learn from the missteps and the mistakes, because that's not a bad thing. The greatest inspirations come from those moments often. And to just reinforce however you can. For me, it was listening to The Secret initially in my car, driving the I-95 corridor, Connecticut, and working for Fortune 500 companies and finding my way. I was very fortunate. I always had a very solid support network, and not everyone does. But I think Jan might be able to speak more eloquently on this topic, but you can train yourself to be your own support network. And in fact, at the end of the day, we have to, because at the end of the day, it is no one else's responsibility for our peace of mind, for our health, for our happiness. But that said, I'm a natural born cheerleader, because I love to share in other people's shining moments, their successes, and there are everyday successes. And it's important to celebrate all of them.
Yes.
So I can speak at greater length, but I think I might have touched on what Izdihar wanted.
Absolutely. And it's just that impact that you can have, right? Just like even the ways I remember, like when I first started my coaching business, like everyone else around me was getting clients and making money. And then there I wasn't like, no, I didn't get it. And I started to, oh, they have that and they have that. Of course they did. And I start to kind of having that resentment. Why is it not them? Why is it not me? Why is it them? I started to have that. And then the moment I start to say, you know what, my time will come. What I'm going to do, I'm going to celebrate each and every one of those people. Like they're not just it's going to blow their mind how I celebrate them, right? So I celebrate them over and over and over, the different people, rather than resentment. I'm like started to feel the joy and the happiness because like they've worked really, really hard for it. What people don't see is that how people have worked really, really hard for it. And then there was a moment where my time came and I got my first client. And then it came back, and then over and over. And it started off with me celebrating other people. Like if I wanted that, right? So if I were resenting on it, how is it gonna flow to my way? So I started to act as if I've already have it through other people. And that is just incredible, like, to see what I learned from there. And I hope it's being spotlighted in this magazine. One of the voice that we want to have is that each of us has our own different uniqueness. It doesn't mean that we're better than everyone else. It's just mean that this is our path. This is our journey. If you want to have success in your life, you got to take care of other people. You got to cheer people on. You got to bless them. You got to, for it to come back to you. Deb, I wanted to touch base with you. Part of success is that we're going to be dealing with losses, whether it's loss of financial, whether it's loss of friendship, whether it's loss of our loved one, as in the passing away. And in your article, you wrote about the 3 secrets to why embracing the grieving process will enhance your life, because it is part of life. Life and death is part of it. So talk about one thing. I know you've given 3 in here. So for those of you who want to check out what it is, please go to izdiharjamil.com/spotlight-magazine. So talk about one secret to embracing the grieving process. And then I would like to ask you for you to read your beautiful poem, I Am Not Gone, from your book, The Grieving Heart.
Well, thank you so much for providing this gorgeous platform. And it really is. I've ordered my first copy. I'm going to get many more, and I'm waiting to have it in my hands, because yes, Jan, that there's something about that tactile, and it's such a glorious. It's a work of art. Izdihar, this your female entrepreneurs magazine spotlight is a work of art, and
thank you.
It's just so gorgeous. And so one of the key things for me with regard to leaning in to that uncomfortable, lean into that uncomfortable, embrace it fully if you can, but lean into it. And it's for the purpose of moving through it and past it. And I think a lot of times people, because they are so, their foundation might be gone in the case of losing a parent, or significant or partner, their foundation is shattered. They're cut loose, they're floundering, and every day they just keep looking back where they used to be, where physically they used to be. So one of the most important principle for me, my biggest secret is understanding physics. Bet Jan didn't see that one coming.
I can't wait to hear more.
She's like, Deb, you don't look like a scientist, or a physicist, I should say. And I'm not. However, the principle that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only change form. Well, in my poet's heart, I applied it to the human spirit or soul. That is energy. We are a bundle of energy stuffed into a meat suit. Oh, I love that irreverent. The irreverent picture that paints. Here we are in our glorious meat suits. But the beauty of really embracing and understanding that concept, that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change form. So what keeps us in that, first of all, what causes the pain is the separation.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, that person has transcended. And gosh darn them, they left us here alone. How dare they? How dare they? But when you can truly understand and embrace, lean into, and come around to believing that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only change form. My poet's heart translates that our spirit, our essence remains completely intact. That when we transition whole with all of our thoughts and dreams and memories and love for everyone here, and we rejoin source. And you can call it God, heaven, whatever makes the most sense for an individual. Because grief is universal, but the way each person grieves is highly individual. It's as individual as a fingerprint. And so the purpose of my book is to be a silent companion. It's there when you need it. It's there whenever you need it. You can read it over and over. Certain pieces will resonate for you more strongly at different times. Each person we grieve, that's a completely different process. And so, so as far as my biggest secret is to understand physics. Our loved ones are whole, they're intact. They shrugged off the meat suit, but they are surrounding us constantly, shining their love down on us constantly. And when we can stop looking for them where they used to be and try as best we can through meditation, etc., on where they are, then we can start to feel that connection again.
Absolutely. And then which is like, the first poem in your book, I Am Not Gone, even though physically they are gone, but because their energy, their love, their dreams, their recipe, their cooks, everything is not gone. What they say, their advices, their wisdom are not gone. So with this, I would like to invite Deb to read her poem, I Am Not Gone, from her book, The Grieving Heart. And for those of you who are experiencing loss at the moment, our hearts are with you. So take it in, just breathe into it, just flow into it. Wherever you are is perfect. If you need to cry, if you need to jump, if you need to laugh, that's completely perfect. So Deb, passing on to you with I Am Not Gone.
I am not gone. Even though my body gave out and I'm no longer around, I am not gone. For you, my child, who's still so young, I pray that you'll never feel that I abandoned you or that you are all alone. I'm not gone. It's not just your memories of me that will keep me alive. Although thinking about how much I love you and how proud I am of you is good, there are other forces, factors, helpers that will be there for you when you need me. I am not gone. They will constantly come and go from your life, for there can never be another me. But be there for you, they will be. Coworkers, friends, relatives, and many more, providing you with comfort, advice, and care. So while it's true, I've left this realm, I am still watching over you. And with my helpers, my agents, if you will, I am still there to guide you and advise you. I am not gone. When you miss me, just stand silently and listen to my voice beating inside you. My voice sings in the wind and will resound in others too, my helpers, for I am not gone.
Mm.
Oh, that's
Beautiful.
absolutely beautiful. Lots of hearts to you, Dad. And I am not gone when you miss me. Be in silent and listen to your voice. Listen to the beating of the heart, and the life forces within you. His, her, or their life forces are within you. The memories, what they say to you, they are within you. I mean, their job is done, right? Their job is done. They're with the source, they're with the creator now. It's our job now to take care of those precious moments with them, or even if it's not so great moments with them, for us to take it in. So for us to shape our lives in however we see fit, that is divinely guided from it. So that is absolutely beautiful. And I just wanted to let people know you can read Deb's poem, I Am Not Gone, on Spotlight magazine, the summer edition of it, which is in the cover. Emmy McNally is an amazing money and business coach on izdiharjamil.com/spotlight-magazine. And I also want to make an announcement that Spotlight magazine, it is on Barnes and Noble.
Yay!
We are on Barnes and Noble. Here we are. And we're also on Amazon. We're also on Amazon, as well as library, school, and many other retailers. So there's more than one way that you can get a copy of Spotlight magazine. So the printed version, there's also the digital version, whichever one that you love the most. Like I said, like for me, there's nothing like holding in a printed copy. It's a beautiful gift to people. Like we have Deb's beautiful poem, we have Jen's unforgivable sins of leadership that people would want to know. We have a recipe, and for myself, I wrote a couple of articles. So one of it is 7 proven methods to be a moneymaker. Something that it started off with the seed that my grandma Mamin planted within me. She is not here, but she is not gone. But my grandma Mamin is a homemaker, but she loves nice things. So as a homemaker, she's been, my grandpa Toaji gives her a certain amount of income every month. And if she wanted something more, she has to figure out her way. Either she take it from next month's credit and then, make do with the difference, or she figured out a way to make money for herself. And boy, did she figure out ways to make money, from cooking, from sewing, from her arts and craft, from teaching. And she just uses the skill set that she has within her. And sometimes when I see women who's like, you know what, I can't make it work, and this, why not? Because I don't have the money. And you see them just giving up. And and these are smart, capable, intelligent women. But what Mommy taught me is that if you want something, you have it within you. the skill set, like Jan said, having the faith in yourself, and Deb said, like believing yourself, and cheering yourself up first and foremost. I can do this. I've got what it takes. And you would see how mommy taught me. So I was like trained from her. And like Deb said, this like her life force has been transferred or transmuted to a different kind of energy. Of course, when I was younger, I didn't understand all, but I just know it's one of the things that mommy does. But it's the 7 proven steps to be a money maker from my book, Money Makers. Is a book that I wrote when I was 8 months pregnant in 72 hours, because I was divinely guided to write it at that time, when I literally had to cross my leg, like, baby, don't come out yet. Mommy has to write a book, like at this moment. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to Jen and Deb for joining me today in celebrating the launch of Spotlight Magazine. Go ahead and go to izdiharjamil.com/spotlight-magazine for you to read it for free for the next 72 hours. Share it, read it as multiple times as you want. I know my ladies are going to be sharing it and reading it multiple times, because I've just made an announcement today on where they can access it. And Jen, quickly, one last final word with you about being in the spotlight of a lot of people. They want to shine away from being in the spotlight, because sometimes it can be scary, sometimes it can be too much, sometimes they're not ready. But there are times that we do need to say yes to the spotlight, because it's where sometimes our voice needed to be heard the most in a particular way. So Jen, what is your biggest tips in kind of like being in the spotlight?
I have to say that I spent years trying to deny who I'd been in my life or the things I experienced. I always thought people that were successful never went through things, never had issues or concerns. And I think one of the primary purposes of writing this is that, and reading other women's stories, is that we all go through things in life. And the moment that I became completely transparent and put it all out there was one of the most freeing things I've ever done. I don't have to hide. I don't have to be worried that anything's going to come up and this imaginary thing is going to come up and throw off my game. It's in the world. So it's so freeing. It's so beautiful to just feel empathy for who I've been on this journey, and help others find that as well for themselves. We're all miracles to get through this experience we call life, and to be proud of ourselves for it, I think, is such a huge gift.
Brilliant. That is beautiful, to be proud of herself and allowing that to shine, right? And Deb, what are your tips about being in the spotlight? Because I remember the first time I talked to you, I couldn't even see you. You're like, your screen wasn't turned on, you just wanted this. And then even when your screen was turned on, it was like blurry and I couldn't this. But look where she is now. Like, Deb is owning it. It was a beautiful top with a necklace, she's all glammed up. She's got like that fancy microphone. So it's like she is ready to be seen, and Deb now has a YouTube channel, which is so beautiful, with her sitting on the tool and reading her poetry. I've got all those things flying in and coming there. So Deb, let's talk about, really quickly, your tip to being in the spotlight. We can't all be in the spotlight all the time, because it's really it's really a lot of energy, and nobody wants to be in the spotlight all the time. But when it's time for you to be in the spotlight, when your voice needs to be heard, the best way that the best way that knows how is her poetry. The best way that Jen knows how is through believing in yourself and your heart, and embracing who you are before. So let's give everybody one tip on being in the spotlight, Deb.
Yes. Thank you for always bringing me back to that moment, Izdihar, when I was hiding. And the funny thing about that is I'd done a considerable amount of live stage work. I'm actually pretty darn comfortable in front of groups of people, 50 to 500. And although part of that, and you do hear it over and over again with regard to it's not uncommon for well-known actors, actresses, etc., that they might be quite shy. That's actually not my deal. But you hear about that because, they're portraying a character. So in essence, you can hide behind that. I'm so sorry. What Izdihar, when our paths crossed, I was very much hiding. And what she was suggesting that I do is share myself. So this was not a character. This was not lines I had memorized. This was not a set. I didn't have props and all of that. This was exposing me. And I actually never shared this with you, Izzy, but I was at a very low point when our paths crossed, and you spotted the sparkle. Thank you so much. And back to what Jan was talking about is to be able to recognize our own spark. And it's taken a few years for me to get comfortable again. And it's taking responsibility and just first and foremost, loving who you are at the moment that you are at. That's the only place you can start. You can only start where you're at. So Izzy, I thank you for the starting point and turning around and deciding to be a cheerleader for myself. Because as I had said to you, I'm everyone else's cheerleader. And it was great to be that, because that meant I was on the sideline, not in the spotlight. Now, due to practices like Jan has talked about, with regard to that positive reinforcement, back to Jack Canfield, in our path, in our journey, I don't have to see I don't have to see the final destination. I just need to see the 200 feet in front of me. The 200 yards, the 200 feet, whatever that reference was regarding driving coast to coast at night, and what the headlights illuminate. So again, my biggest thing is I like to actually refer to it as secure your own oxygen mask first. And any means possible. Be kind and gentle to yourself. Mm-hmm. And if it means forgiving yourself for something you feel you have done, if it just means acknowledging who you are, to look in the mirror and maybe not be that thrilled with the image, but loving you anyway. And that was part of my process that Izzy refers to as to why I was hiding. Now, is it perfect? No.
It's fabulous. Fabulous.
Okay, well, it is. Jan, thank you. We are fabulous, and I am fabulous. But it's now every day is a new adventure. And, because I'm circling back to taking responsibility. I've gone vegan, and I am actually stating this out loud for the first time on any platform, even though Izdihar's first ever edition, it was a vegan oatmeal cookie recipe, but I wasn't full on at that time. And I'm taking responsibility for what I put into this meat suit. I'm not putting meat into the meat suit. It's already in there. So anyway, so the tip is just to be kind and gentle with yourself, secure your own oxygen mask first, and just start where you are, and yeah, be gentle with yourself and love yourself and use Jan's techniques.
Yes, absolutely. And it's just kind of like finding your own spark, right? And then allowing, take care of that spark, because it's so precious. It's your voice. If you don't take care of it, if you don't nurture it, if you don't stand up to it, if you don't protect it, no one else will. And, and then along the way, you'll find people who's going to help you take care of that. in the best possible way. And if you found those people, take care of them, hang on to them, hang out with them. But if there are people who's going to try to kill that spark and that voice, you need to let them go. Because that is your spark, that is your soul, that is your spotlight. So thank you so much for everybody who is hanging out with me today. Thank you so much to Jan. Thank you so much to Deb. Woman Who Lead, part of the book Woman Who Lead, that Jen and I are part of. It's available on Amazon, and Jen also has her own personalized copy. So go and reach out to Jen to grab her own personalized copy. And we are in the process of turning it into Audible. It's Jen's happy place. It's my happy place with Audible, because that's the only way that I'm able to read books while we're driving, or while we're cooking, or while we're doing our walks and everything. So thank you so much, Jen and Deb, for hanging out with me on the launch of Spotlight Magazine, the summer 2022 edition. There's so many exciting things. Amy McNally shares, who's the cover girl, shares about the 3 ways to scale your business without hustling. There's also pregnancy tips. There's also how to turn positives into impact in the world. And this is coming from Dawn Bates, who is a human rights activist who's been fighting for humans' voices ever since she was a child. And of course, there are tips on being a better leader, or like the unforgivable sins of leadership. So many exciting things, money makers, 7 ways to be a money maker, turning your passion into profit. So go and grab a copy on izdiharjamil.com/spotlight-magazine. You're able to read the digital copy for free for the next 72 hours. We're also on Barnes and Noble. We're also on Amazon. Like, you could not miss us. There's like, plenty of way you can grab a copy. So thank you for those who are listening. For those of you who would love to share your voices on prestigious platforms, whether it's being a best-selling author, into magazines, TV, interviews, TED, or Forbes, check out izdiharjamil.com. Until the next episode, this is your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. Tell yourself, yes, I can. And so it is done. Deb and Jan, let's say goodbye to everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.